In the mid-1500s, the town of Potosi rivaled London for both population and prosperity. Once home to the largest silver mine in the world, Potosi is still the biggest city in the Altiplano, though the riches of its mines faded long ago. Today, several thousand miners, many of them teenagers, still go deep beneath the earth every day at Potosi in search of one last piece of luck. Each morning in Potosi starts at this market, just below the mine, where the men load up on supplies.
I've heard about Potosi several years ago from a friend who told me that you could come to one market and buy coca, pure crane alcohol, and dynamite all in one store. ¿Dónde está la dinamite? Ah, yeah. So we have everything we need for a fun morning. Alcohol, coca, and dynamite.
Properly armed and suited with hard hat and lamp, we walk the exterior of the mine, high on the mountain known as Cerro Rico, the Rich Mountain. Every square inch is worked, as it has been for nearly 5 centuries. These women, widows of miners, get first dibs on banging rocks by hand, looking for any overlooked morsel of silver. Coca, chewed by everyone from small boys to elderly women, is the most sought-after currency. We've brought along several bags and are trailed by men hungry for a free chew.
We're about to enter the mine here at Potosi, which was once the biggest silver mine in the world. It's diminished quite a bit, but there's still several thousand miners working in here, so not sure what we'll find exactly. We're armed with plenty of coca as a reward for miners below.
They would use drills to help explore, but drills require water to keep them cooled down, and there's just a trickle of water here. It's a spooky place, with tunnels leading this way and that, and dynamite being exploded around every corner.
The silver that came out of this mine could make a road from Potosi all the way back to Spain. There was a cost, of course, over 300 years of colonial rule. They estimate is that 9 million miners lost their lives in this mine or because of this mine.
It's backbreaking work. If it doesn't kill workers, it drives them out before they're in their 40s. Young boys, desperate to avoid a predetermined future, continue to be pushed into the mines by families who need them to earn. Back out in the fresh air, the sun never looked so good. From the heights of Potosi, we plunge southwards, dropping several thousand feet to a wide, flat plain of white.
We're here in the middle of the Salar de Uyuni in southern Bolivia. It's the biggest salt lake in the world, 120 miles long by 40 miles across. 12,000 years ago, we would have been standing at the bottom of a 200-foot lake known as Lago Tauca.
All this salt was left behind when the big mineral lakes were chased out by the volcanic rising of the Andes Mountains. At the center of the salar, the salt is 360 feet deep. In the heart of the salar, we come across small fields of salt, neatly raked and piled. Turning the surface into these neat piles is the work of dozens of men and women who come out each day onto the flats from the nearby town of Colchani. Celso and his wife Nilda ride a single bicycle out onto the salar each early morning, 6 days a week.
Celso tells us that he's 48 years old. He's been working out in these salt flats for 40 years. Every day he and his wife Nilda come out and they mark off these squares, 5 meters by 5 meters, which they then turn into these mounds of salt. A truck will come out later in the day and pick them up, deliver them to town. They get paid about 50 cents per mound. So between the two of them, they'll make about $5 a day.
Thanks to the intensity of the sun reflecting off all that white, everyone covers any exposed skin to keep from burning. At day's end, Celso marks his piles with his initials so that the trucks that pick up his salt can give him credit and he can get paid. A few miles away, several crews work cutting blocks of salt from the surface, working their way in big, perfect circles. They'll work the same spot for 2 months, then move on.
Little different form of taking from the salar here. These guys are cutting almost perfect rectangles from the salt for 2 uses, one for animal feed and the other to build houses from. Apparently in Bolivian cities of Sucre and Potosi, it's become quite popular to have houses built from salt. Each of these guys will cut about 100 of these blocks each day and make $4 or $5 a piece per day.
Everything is trucked to Colchani, where the only business in town is drying, refining, and bagging salt.